Hi, everyone. I'm Aneela, and I'm from the US. And I'm very fortunate to live in the south of Kensington. It's a lovely area, and if you ever visit, I highly recommend that you venture through. It's got beautiful palaces and museums, but in the same borough, on the north side, the fire of Grenfell Tower happened. Many died, and many also survived. And getting proper help was extremely difficult. Luckily enough, £5 million was raised for the victims of Grenfell. But the sad thing is, only £200,000 was put into the victims' hands. Why is it that one of the wealthiest countries in the world, let alone one of the wealthiest neighborhoods, we cannot distribute aid efficiently? When one loses everything, the most valuable thing they can lose is their identity. The disconnected are a growing problem in our advanced countries. But this is most acute in unstable nations such as Syria. In conflict, aid is lost and or misplaced. And there's barely any connectivity, and people's identities disappear along with their hopes and their dreams. Should we go this way? We all sit here today because we're excited about the latest advancement in tech. And if we look at technology and what it does for us, it essentially helps us to communicate, and it's been closely related to connectivity. It's important to see how a blockchain, especially Blockstack, has and can help to change the world for the better. Every day, about 34,000 people are displaced forcefully due to conflict or persecution. Nobody should need to run because of their beliefs or their opinions. And nobody's data should be taken against their will to obtain their views. They flee because of their identity. And when disaster strikes, that's what you lose. If you're displaced and deprived, you don't have an identity. Identity is a very important thing in cryptography. And the goal of Symmitree is to give everyone in the world a verifiable human identity. And this solves a huge number of problems for every single application here. For cryptography in general, at Symmitree, we firmly believe that connectivity is a right and not a privilege, and that every human being should be able to access the internet for free. And a lot of people tend to agree with this, along with Facebook and the UN, but somehow we feel that there's a need to go deeper and act quicker. My team and I are applying blockchain technology and biometrics to help the displaced and the deprived reclaim their identity in order to build a positive future. Together, we can help the most vulnerable people. And some of the biggest data and communication errors that we bypass are in the aid sector. This is a double-sided problem. On one hand, governments struggle to properly identify vulnerable populations, making it difficult to release aid. And on the other hand, people that need aid the most lack proof of identity and connectivity. And there are many really excellent initiatives tackling aid efficiency and overall identity, but they struggle with scalability and maintainability. When we look at blockchain technology and its purpose, it's important to see where it's most needed. An integrated infrastructure is ideal for third-party innovation, fostering an ecosystem and strong network effects aided by our unique token economy. The way that we do that is through creating the right economic incentives, and that's one of the most interesting parts of technology, because we can see that with a combination of blockchain and biometrics, we can prove that the cost of getting identity is a fraction of the value. Our phones are based on Android Oreo and can be built by any manufacturer to a standardized specification, integrating seamlessly into global supply chains and distributed via existing aid channels. Value is greater than cost, considerably, and that's all we're trying to do. The first group that we're trying to tackle is the refugees, and this is an $80 billion issue on the aid side. 30% of all aid is lost due to misappropriation of funds. That's $42.9 billion a year. Why? Because the line of communication is lost, and this is largely not due to not being able to reach the intended market. There's no clear way to monitor the aid of impact, and failure to release aid because the intended recipients aren't able to provide proper identification. And the way that we're fixing this is through the Symmitree phone. Symmitree phones are designed to bring together all the fantastic innovations that we see here. And we have 50 partners in the pipeline that do everything from Right Mesh's mesh networking to solar charging stations from Verve to this, all through the Blockstack infrastructure we are trying to streamline and standardize the onboarding process for individuals to have identities that they control, linked to their own humanity, and to have access to decentralized internet. We can potentially bring huge savings by connecting them with people that want to help them. But if we get this right, we can help every displaced and deprived person in the world. We cure poverty by obviously giving people money, but we can also give them the means to earn money, giving everyone free connectivity, which is what we call the International Finance Facility for Connectivity. And it can enable them to do this. We aim to give every refugee a free biometric smartphone by 2020. Once entire villages and refugee camps have the same hardware and software and this identity element driven by economic factors, driven by value creation, they'll be able to do amazing things. The reason for 2020 is because the technology is not ready now, and we'll see huge strides within the next year and the year after, and we can go to 20 million phones or 200 million. But the value of each of these identities via a smartphone using your existing phone tied to you as a human, we believe will be in the hundreds of dollars. That's why we're creating a platform where you can reach anybody, but they have to have control of their own data and information. In particular, the groups that need it the most are the refugees. And it's the first group we want to start with. And it's giving them access to the identity that they control, and we want to empower them. The other thing we want to reinforce is we are not doing this in pieces. We are doing this on a large, standardized scale. We have a number of innovations in order to achieve this, and in order to get this into everybody's hands. We will be unveiling our finance structuring very soon. Please sign up at Symmitree.com. Connectivity is a human right, and everyone has the right to control and build their own identity. Thank you.